Yeah, we're good. Don't mind. I'm working on something else. You turn off the lights. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jesse, you got me? Excellent. All right, so we should be
Welcome into a playoff edition of Clippers Countdown for Game 2 of this best-of-7 first-round series against the Denver Nuggets from Ball Arena. After number 2 had a down game and Kawhi Leonard by only taking 15 shots and having 7 turnovers in Game 1, as the Clippers led by as many as 15 just to collectively turn the ball over 20 times, leading to a Denver Nuggets comeback in a 112-110 overtime victory. Here was Coach Lue on what he told the team postgame.
And so 20 turnovers for 29 points. It's hard to beat a good team, when you turn the ball over that many times. But we saw some things. We did some things right, some things we could have did better, which we know. And so, we just got to be better with our execution. I think defensively understanding what we're doing, and then offensively understanding how we want to attack them. And so I thought we did a good job in the first half. And then in the second half, we got away from, the attack mindset of getting to the paint, getting to the basket.
Get to the paint or die trying is the motto. And after just 36 points in the first half, well, they had just 24 points in the paint in 29 minutes in the second half and into overtime. So tonight in Game 2, whether it's a 48-minute game or another overtime thriller, the Clippers have to adhere to the game plan that was effective and stay in attack mode if they want this series tied up at a game apiece heading back into a dome on Thursday night. Tip-off between the Clippers and Denver Nuggets in Game 2 from Denver is just about 60 minutes away as we are patiently waiting. But coming up on the pregame show, you're going to hear from your assistant coach and Brendan O'Connor, plus Lob Murray of The Athletic will be here. But up next, it's your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Really? Clippers in Denver taking on the Nuggets. Tip-off is just about 58 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Still to come, you're going to hear from assistant coach Brendan O'Connor. Jimenez, Carlo, how we doing, my friend?
Adam, what's up? I'm doing good. Good to see you. Another game. We got another opportunity for the Clippers to put their best foot forward, and I am excited. Ty Lue feels confident with his team. If Ty Lue is confident, I'm confident that the Clippers will have a great opportunity in this contest.
I'm confident they got to turn the ball over less in this ball game after having 20 of them, 7 from Kawhi Leonard in game 1. Uncharacteristically poor performance from Kawhi. We expect him to bounce back, of course, tonight.
No doubt. I mean, Kawhi only attempted it 15 times from the field, Adam. It's his fewest since March 28th, when he had 31 against the Brooklyn Nets in about 2 quarters of action. Just impressive stuff in that contest, but just wasn't aggressive enough in that ball game. And he even spoke to that post game, saying when it came to the turnovers and how he played on the offensive end, he had to be more decisive, know what he wants to do, get to his spots, and attack the rim. Kawhi Leonard, I'm sure, will look like a much more polished version in this one. He's able, after that week off, I mean, the guy was playing every other day. He still scored 20 points in 16 straight games, but he had that longer break. Now he's back into the rhythm of an NBA season here in the playoffs. I expect him to have a huge bounce-back performance, and I guarantee that he will shoot it more than 15 times.
And it's not as if this Clippers team wasn't in control or in command of this ball game when they were adhering to the game plan. They were up by 15 in that second quarter, but the Denver Nuggets went on that 13-2 run to end the first half. That set the Clippers back, and eventually they would lose in overtime. But there were a lot of positives you can still take away from the ball game.
There's so many positives. I think for this Clipper team, the things that you need to fix are very much fixable. Not turn it over, not give up as many offensive rebounds, continue to bring the physicality. I think one of the things that gives this Clipper team a lot of confidence, Adam, is they really hadn't looked like this since the March game against Phoenix on the 4th of March. I mean, it had felt like this team had put their best foot forward 21 straight games in a row, and then they have a week off, a little bit slower of a ball game here in Denver. Ty Lue spoke to the media earlier today saying it was our second slowest offensive game when it comes to getting into our initial action of the season. So I expect the Clippers to be able to fix a lot of the things that they struggled with in game 1. Again, this is the road on the playoffs in Denver, where Anthony Edwards, after playing a game in LA in downtown earlier this week, was asked about the environment and said, "Oh, I can deal with anything. I played a 7-game series in Denver." So for this Clipper team, I think taking that into context and understanding this is a veteran group that has not lost back-to-back games since early March, I expect them to come out full force ahead.
I hope James Harden can continue to perform at this high of a level. In his 43 minutes, 32 points, 11 assists. He had just 2 turnovers, was efficient out there, aggressive, had 15 of his 32 in that first quarter, and the pick and roll between him and Ivica Zubac was very successful.
Yeah, James Harden gives this Denver team problems because his ability to get downhill, to manipulate defenses, and then to find different players on the offensive end is just special. I mean, he was able to get to his spots at him, 32 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds for Harden in his 43 minutes. This is the reason why he's the only player in the NBA top 15 in points, assists, steals, and 3-pointers made. He is that special of a player. And Adam, for this Clipper team, they're probably going to want to feed James Harden more if he keeps shooting the ball at this efficient of a level. I don't think anyone would complain. It felt like every time Harden got a look, it was a good one, or he was creating a good one for another one of his teammates.
Now, Ivica Zubac ended up having another monster game, as expected, 21-13, 10 of 15 shooting. Almost felt like, though, maybe they left a little bit on the table with him. They could have gone to him a few more times because Nikola Jokic was in foul trouble in that ball game. As Big Zoo, I want to say he had the first 6 or 8 points. He was going right after him early in the ball game.
He was excellent to start the game. First 6 points, like you mentioned, Adam, and then also to him not shooting it towards the latter half of the game. Law Murray pointing out in The Athletic, 2 field goals in the final 22 minutes. I mean, he attempted 2 shots in the final 22 minutes of the game. The Clippers have to go to him more down the stretch because, let's be honest, Adam, Ivica Zubac doesn't have many off nights. I mean, this is a guy who has consistently scored time and time again and has had 16 straight double-doubles. I mean, he continues to just be a force for this team on the offensive end, whether that's rebounding or scoring the ball. The Clippers need to find Big Zoo down the stretch. It's a reason why he was a most improved candidate. Probably should have got Defensive Player of the Year finalist. You know, I don't know how you're the best defender on the best player in the NBA, but not a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. Somebody explain that to me. But nonetheless, Ivica Zubac, well-deserved honor. And no doubt, Adam, the Clippers will look for him more. They'll make that adjustment
Clippers looking to tie the series up at a game apiece before they head back to Intuit Dome on Thursday night. Tip-off from Denver is just about 52 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Coming up, these guys' one-on-one conversation with assistant coach Brendan O'Connor right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Denver for game 2 of this best-of-7 first-round series. They're down 1-0. They need a victory tonight in this one to head home to Intuit Dome tied up at a game apiece. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we'll get your player to watch. We'll also go back in time in Clippers Rewind. But first, let's head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez.
Thank you so much, Adam, here with assistant coach Brendan O'Connor before the Clippers take on the Denver Nuggets. Coach, obviously after game 1, you guys have a lot of things you can adjust. How do you try to digest that down to simple things for this group?
Well, that's exactly it. We're just, we're going to make a few tweaks, but nothing major. We thought we played a great game for the majority of the game. And so we just tweak a couple things here and there, make a couple adjustments, and move on from there.
Zoo had his playoff career high. Didn't seem like a big deal, but obviously he's been playing at an elite level all year long. What does it say that he's able to do it in the playoffs as well as the regular season?
I mean, listen, everybody, he's up there for what is it, most improved player. To me, he's been this guy. He's getting a lot more touches, but he's been the disappointing thing to me is that he's not on the defensive ballot, because to me that's what he's been, and now he just has gotten more touches. He's always been able to score the ball down there, but I just think it's great for him. He puts the work in consistently, and he's getting better and better every single year, but he's always been a heck of a player.
The team talked about having physicality in the beginning of the game, and then it felt like Denver was the team who brought the physicality in the second half. As a staff, how do you judge the physicality on the floor? What are the things you're looking at?
I mean, there's a number of them, but when we're physical, what we always say is it just gives you the answer. So when you're coming together in a off the ball split, if you're both into the body physically, you're going to be able. It's going to be easier for you to make a decision on what you're doing, whether you're switching or staying with your own. And that's we did have a little bit of slippage in that, but for the most part, we did a heck of a job being physical from start to finish. We just got to make sure that 4:48, or if it happens to be 53, we got to do it the whole time.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. Best of luck.
You bet. Thank you.
Assistant coach Brendan O'Connor there with Carlo Jimenez pregame as we get set for game 2 in Denver. Clippers taking on the Nuggets. Tip-off is just about 48 minutes away. Coming up, We'll go back in time and Clippers Rewind back to 2006 right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Denver Nuggets in game 2 from Denver. Tip-off just about 45 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. You're listening to the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. It's Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we got Law Murray joining the show. But first, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. Going back almost 19 years here to the day. It was April 22nd of 2006, where Silent Hill, Scary Movie 4, and The Sentinel were at the top of the box office. And What You Know by T.I. and Temperature by Sean Paul were at the top of the Billboard charts. And the Clippers were feeling the heat up late in a game 1 of a first-round series against the Nuggets back at Staples Center with a 2-point lead with 4.5 seconds left, and Denver with the basketball.
Miller steps out of bounds with the ball. Here's Anthony. Mobley with it. 1.1 at the buzzer missing. Clippers win their first playoff game since '93. Nervous moments for the sellout crowd at Staples. But in the end, relief for Elton Brand and the Clippers.
It was Musburger on the call. Melo had 25, but would go 0 for 8 in the fourth quarter as the Clippers would win 89-87, thanks to 21, 8, and 5 from EB, 19 and 7 assists from Sam Cassell, 15 and 13 from Chris Kaman, the Caveman, and Coutinho Mobley with 17. They would eventually go on to win the series in 5 games and would advance to the second round for the first time in franchise history with a victory over the Denver Nuggets. All right, let's see if they can bounce back in Denver tonight. It's game 2. Clippers down 1-0 in this best-of-7 first-round series. Coming up next, where are we going? Oh, yeah, your player to watch. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Nuggets from Denver in Game 2 of this best-of-7 first-round series. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. It's Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. And still to come, we got La Murray from The Athletic joining us. But first,
this is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
Well, I often don't choose this player because, quite frankly, it's too easy. He rarely ever has an off game. But he did in Game 1. Talking about Kawhi Leonard. 9 of 15. It's not a bad field goal percentage, but it's the 15 that concerned me. Only getting up 15 shots. Still had 22 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, but 7 turnover. That is unlike the Claw. In fact, if you look over his last 50 playoff games, he's averaging an efficient 30 points during that stretch. I expect him to bounce back, be much better, much more sound passing out of the double teams that surely are still going to be coming his way. Look for Kawhi Leonard to bounce back in a big way. This Clippers team, well, he is their best player. He is their leader. They have him in a playoff series, healthy and ready to go. You expect him to perform at the highest level and bounce back in here in Game 2. Clippers, Denver Nuggets from Denver, from Ball Arena, and tip-off is just about 40 minutes away. Up next, we'll get to your injury report, and then La Murray of The Athletic. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Nuggets in Game 2 from Denver. Tip-off is just about 37 minutes away. Welcome back. I'm Adam Osland. It's the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, La Murray of The Athletic. Plus, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez and get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. But I do want to give you that injury update. Everybody's healthy and ready to go. It's the playoffs. It's that time. They need everybody. All hands on deck, this Clippers team, including the Claw. I'm looking to have a bounce back performance as he is my player to watch, Kawhi Leonard. We'll talk with La Murray coming up next about what he expects from Kawhi after a subpar playoff game from the Clippers' best player in Game 1. More on that next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers tipping off from Denver just about 33 minutes from now. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. It is Clippers Countdown as we get set for game 2 of this best-of-7 first-round series, Clippers and Nuggets. And coming up, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. But joining the show right now is the man from The Athletic. That would be Law Murray. At Law Murray, the NU is where you find him on all social media platforms. Law, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I got this cupcake that I'm probably going to donate. It looks good, but it's not functional at all.
Not functional, what? Because you're in playoff mode? You're trying to eat clean? What's the deal?
Nah, I'm not. I don't care about playoff mode, man. I'm going to have a cupcake. I'm going to have a cupcake, but I don't know how to work it.
I was going to make a KD joke, but I'm not going to do it. That's like so 2017.
That's not nice, man. KD's not playing in the playoffs.
I know.
Actually, KD is playing in the playoffs. He played for the Clippers.
Woo! Let's go. Chris Dunn in this case. Now let's go back to what happened in game 1. Law, what was secondary to the turnovers in your mind for why the Clippers lost that game?
You're going to laugh at me, but it's turnovers for the other team. Like,
lack of?
Everyone's focusing on the Clippers turnovers. The Clippers didn't force enough turnovers. They didn't execute their defensive game plan when Nikola Jokic is being a passer. I wrote about some of that for this morning at The Athletic. I think that if you're going to be facing a team that has multiple guys who rely on passing the basketball at a high level, you have to make them pay, and the Clippers didn't do that. If you're double teaming, you are trying to force mistakes. The Clippers didn't do that. You saw Nikola Jokic whip passes out of double teams to finding threes, and those were the only threes the Nuggets were getting for the most part in the game. The Nuggets didn't even hit 10 threes for the game. This is a team that shoots the fewest threes in the league. So if you're going to have to execute your defensive game plan, especially if you're not going to play Nikola Jokic straight up, Nikola Jokic can't have 2 turnovers in an overtime game if you're going to succeed if you're the Clippers defense. So as much as the Clippers turned the ball over, as many as points as the Clippers allowed off of their giveaways, losing that possession battle, they didn't get it back on the other end. And I think those two things have to go hand in hand. It's not just that the Clippers turned the ball over. It's that they got destroyed in that margin because they didn't force turnovers at the level that they're capable of.
Was Kawhi's performance as bad as the stat line makes it out to be? Or when you watch the film, was it like, yeah, he didn't have a great game. They also did some good things defensively against him that took him out of his game somewhat?
I think that Kawhi scored at a decent rate. You'll take, that field goal percentage for sure. You want more volume, but you just want more opportunities. His 7 turnovers, not all the turnovers were bad. 2 of those turnovers came off of his rebounds. And you'll take that effort, but you can't have the lazy turnovers. You can't have the turnovers that makes it seem like it's just a, January game. They had the lead and the ball in their guys' hands in front of the Clippers bench with 30 seconds left. You're taking that every time.
With the right matchup.
The right matchup, the right situation. You lost the ball. You lost the timeout because you lost the challenge, and then you lost the lead and never regained it again. That's the thing. Kawhi hasn't had a game like that all year. He rarely has a game like that over the course of his career. The few times he has those high turnover games, he's always paid it off with good performance that leads to a win in the same game. That's an outlier performance, but Kawhi's got to be more forceful. The Denver Nuggets, they might not be a good defense, but they're a good defense for Kawhi Leonard. They have a good Kawhi Leonard defender, and they understand what they want to do. They're trying to make Kawhi be a passer. Kawhi's great at a lot of things. He's good at many things. And I think anyone would say Kawhi's weakness as an offensive player, especially a star player, is you don't really want him as your table setter more than often. I think the Nuggets played with his head a little bit, and I expect him to be a lot more forceful and decisive in game 2.
Did the Clippers make a mistake not getting the basketball to Ivica Zubac more in the second half, or did it just work out that way?
I think it's a little of both. I think that the Clippers need to do a better job of getting him the rock. I pointed out in my story, he only had 2 attempts in the last 22 minutes of the game, and he made both of those attempts. One of them was a critical goaltend that was a go-ahead. So I think that what's going to be tough is where do you get him the ball? Like, do you post him? Do you keep trying to target him on rolls? One of James Harden's turnovers was when he tried to hit Zubac's on a roll out of a blitz, and Nikola Jokic got his hand on the ball for a steal, and Christian Brown saved it. Those are the kind of plays that energize the crowd. And that's why I say it's like, as great as Zoo is, there's a limit on how you can get him the ball, and so I think hammering Zoo early, I mean, they did a great job when it's Michael Porter Jr. in the game. They didn't do so great when it was Russell Westbrook in the game. Russell Westbrook's going to play with the game a little bit, and he's going to mess with the Clippers passers. And that's the thing. It's like you can't just give Zoo the ball and say, "Hey, get going on your own." He relies on his ball handlers to get him the basketball. Bogdanovic was that was the worst I've seen him play all season. He was really bad. That affects Zoo. Zoo's increase in fourth quarter touches coincided with Bogdanovic being comfortable as a fourth quarter ball handler. Bogdan was unplayable in game one, and that affected Zoo's touches as well. So it's not as much about Zoo. It's about his guards, and it's about the Denver defense. I thought Denver, honestly, they did a good job switching things up.
So Coach Lou yesterday said they got a game and a half to go with the original game plan before they change things up. What do you think that first change would be if they struggle in the first half of this one?
That depends on the game flow, man, because the Clippers don't have a lot of two-way players, to be quite honest. You know who's going to be out there no matter what. I know people are going to look at Norm, and to be honest with you, if Bogey is going to be as invisible as he was in game one, then you need one of those two guys out there. Like, you can't really survive with a DJ and Batum lineup if the game is close because there's not enough offense there. I'm honestly not sure what T. Lou does. It's going to be tough on him. Ben's only going to really play when Zoo needs a breather. You don't have a lot of options. We're seeing this early. Amir Coffey's next guy up as far as who's out of the rotation, who could be in the rotation. And I don't think Amir Coffey can guard anybody in this series. I just truly don't believe that. So I honestly just look at it as Norm's got to play better. You can't go too heavy with who you go as far as defense. I mean, Nico can be effective, but Nico's pretty one-dimensional. Derrick Jones Jr. is pretty one-dimensional, especially in this series. It's just a lot of size. Derrick can't guard everybody. You've noticed that the rebounding took a major hit when Derrick was on the floor. So it's going to be tough. Personnel-wise, I'm not sure what they can really do. They need guys like Norm. They need guys like Bogey to play at their best. Now, as far as how you're playing, honestly, I just feel like the Clippers need to go pick and roll a lot more. This is not a heavy pick and roll team. I think James is really good at getting downhill, and James had it going early. He had 15 first quarter points. They eventually had a 15-point lead. If James isn't in foul trouble, and he had to navigate foul trouble often, he played a lot of minutes for someone who had 2 first quarter fouls, 3 second quarter fouls, 4 fouls in the third quarter. I thought that he was tentative a little bit, and so more James Harden is helpful for this team. I think the Nuggets are happy if they can just get a bunch of Kawhi just trying to attack and whatnot, but they don't really have an answer for James getting downhill and setting his teammates up and setting his shooters up, unless they can be like, hey, maybe James might be a little tentative because he doesn't want to pick up that extra foul. That's the adjustment for me.
What did you make of the lack of minutes, though, with Stars, comparing it to the overtime game against Golden State less than a week ago? I mean,
they were up. That's what it is. They were up. In Golden State, they were down double digits in the second quarter, and guys proved to be unplayable early. You had to max the minutes out to have a chance at winning the game. It was flipped this time. You were up 15. You're controlling. You're not thinking about, minutes going out of control until the end of the game probably, and that's my whole thing. I just feel like when you're up, you're in control of the game, and you can kind of fix your minutes accordingly. And when you're down, like they were in San Francisco, and you realize certain guys can't play, and you're already shorthanded because Nico Batum wasn't available, right? Yeah, your minutes are going to be increased because there are certain guys who couldn't play. Like Ben couldn't play in that game. Amir, who was already a replacement, couldn't play in that game. Bogey wasn't great, had to play a little bit more. Those are where your minutes increases come from. If the Clippers are down tonight, which they tend to be in Denver, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of minutes until the game gets too far gone. So that's my own thing with the minutes.
Are we going to see a staggering of Kawhi and James Harden where one of them is on the court at all times?
You probably are. I would think that that's going to be the case. Again, it really just comes down to game flow. How well do you start? What are guys looking like? Is Norm going to play better? Is Bogey going to come in and go back to being the player that he was for the Clippers instead of the player he was for the Atlanta Hawks most of this year? You notice the Hawks fired their general manager today.
Yeah.
So much of this comes down to who punches who first and who has a response over the course of a game and who goes in that locker room and comes out in the third quarter and is able to adjust accordingly from there. There are going to be adjustments. We already know one big adjustment. I'm interested to see who James guards because Aaron Gordon, James Harden can guard a lot of guys bigger than him. But Aaron Gordon is a special challenge. He always is a special challenge. It doesn't matter if Robert Covington is on his team, if Marcus Morris is on his team. Aaron Gordon loves to see these dudes. And so, I think that's the other reason why you need James more offensively. You need Kawhi probably on Aaron. That's what I would do. But that's going to take away from what Kawhi does as much offensively. You need James. And James is going to need help. Norm has to be better. Bogey has to be better. And that's that.
Do you think they guard differently the pick and roll with Murray and Nikola Jokic late in the game than they did in game one?
Well, you got to get to late in the game. That's for one. And for two, I honestly think the Clippers should just play straight up more often. The double teams are what killed the Clippers.
Yeah.
Those big kill shot threes were double teams or guys acting like they were double teams. It's as simple as keep Zoo on Jokic as much as possible and keep guys like Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr. on Murray as much as possible. If you do that and limit everybody else, there are already guys on the Nuggets who don't look like they are in this series. I think Aaron was great. I think Jokic was great. Christian is one of my favorite players in the whole league. Porter got canceled in game one. Russ was trick or treat as usual, but Russ had way more winning plays than losing plays. I think the key with Russ was Russ didn't pass the ball very much. He was like, I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to drive it. I'm going to be aggressive. He took 17 shots. He missed 12 of them. But he only had one turnover, I believe, in game one. That's huge. So if you're the Clippers, don't give these dudes confidence and actually make, if Jokic scores a lot and it's inside the 3-point line, I think you got to live with that and go from there.
Try to win that math game maybe a little bit. Reed Law's latest on The Athletic titled Clippers Need to Clean Up Multiple Game Plan Mistakes to Even Series Against Denver. That's exactly what they're trying to do tonight. Tip-off is just about 20 minutes away. Law, appreciate you. We'll see you at the Dome back on Thursday, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Enjoy the games.
Coming up next, we'll get to an NBA out-of-town scoreboard. I'm Adam Osland. We're getting set for Game 2. Clippers and Denver Nuggets from Denver, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers in Denver for game 2. Tip-off is just about 16 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Moslin. Just Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Coming up, back to Carlo Jimenez from Ball Arena. But first, let's get to that driver on the league. Brought to you by Toyota's electrified lineup, including hybrids, plug-in hybrids, all electrics, and even fuel cell electric vehicles. So you can choose exactly the type you need for your lifestyle. We make it easy. Only other game in the association going on tonight is being led by the Detroit Pistons, who are trying to tie up their best of 7 first-round series in New York against the Knicks, where they lead 88-75 with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Cade Cunningham has 51 for Detroit. Tobias Harris, our old friend, has 15. Jalen Brunson with 26, but on 9 of 22 shooting for the Knicks. Detroit up by 13, just under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter at Madison Square Garden. Coming up next, we'll get back to Ball Arena with Carlo Jimenez as we get set for game 2 in this best of 7 first-round series. Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Denver Nuggets in game 2 of this first round series from Denver. Tip-off is just about 14 minutes away. Coming up, we'll get your keys to victory. But first, back out to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. All right, Carlos. So I was listening to Zach Lowe earlier, who I've missed for some time. He's back up and running.
Let's go.
He said Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic ran 35 pick and rolls to great success. Ivica Zubac and James Harden were at 24 in the ball game. Seemed like they could have spammed that even more because they were very efficient offensively when they ran that pick and roll. I wonder if they go to it more tonight here in game 2.
I think the Clippers have to match that strength for strength. You think about what Denver was able to do, Adam. They had double their season average of Murray-Jokic pick and rolls in game 1. They continued to go to that pick and roll time and time again. And in the second half, Adam, the points per possession, I believe, was 1.3, 1.4. It was excellent, and it worked really, really well. How do the Clippers defend that? But you make a great point. By the same token, why go away from a James Harden pick and roll that in the first half, Adam, got you 4 makes inside the restricted area for the Beard? Just got to imagine the Clippers will go strength for strength here, get back to James Harden, make Denver make an adjustment, and then try to adjust off that adjustment.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, but obviously both Norman Powell and Bogdan Bogdanovic have to be much better here in game 2. I think it is necessary for this Clippers team to have at least one of their sharpshooters be in rhythm. You expect one of them at least to show up in this one. I heard earlier Norman Powell was at pregame like 4 hours before anybody else, putting up shots. You know, Norman's a perfectionist out there. He wants to bounce back. I just hope he's not putting too much pressure on himself. Let the game come to him. Ease into this one.
It's a great point you bring up, Adam, because when Kawhi Leonard was asked about what he is looking forward to in this playoffs, he said, I'm just happy to be playing. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play with joy and I'm going to savor the moment. And Kawhi Leonard has been a great playoff player because he doesn't necessarily put that internal pressure, or he doesn't say he does, to the media. So you hope Norman Powell similarly enjoys the moment, right? Really embraces being in this building, a building in which he has had a ton of success. His Clipper regular season career high here at Ball Arena in the second game of the season. So for the Clippers and Norman Powell, I think the same thing with Bogdan Bogdanovic. There's a clip surfacing X or Twitter earlier. James Harden sitting next to Bogey, talking to him, trying to amp him up, say, look, don't put that pressure on yourself. Both of those guys just have to be themselves, and they'll find a lot of success for this Clipper team, especially, Adam, because we know that shooting guard position for the Clippers is the X factor on the offensive end at times. If one of those guys can get going, it's going to make it very hard for David Adelman and who he wants to put in. I would imagine if Norm or Bogey has a big game, Peyton Watson's going to have to match them on the defensive end. That's going to be minus offense for a Denver team that, without Jokic, their offensive rating in game 1, 60, Adam. 6-0. The worst in the NBA is 104. The Clippers have to take advantage of those minutes.
Yeah, it feels like they got to make the Denver Nuggets adjust here in this one. Denver, though, they have their own issues. Even in a victory, Michael Porter Jr., 26 minutes, 1 of 4, 3 points. David Adelman's talked about, well, the guy who's playing the best is going to play the most minutes. And in that game, it was Russell Westbrook getting more minutes than Michael Porter Jr. How do you see this developing?
Adelman has made it crystal clear on what he needs to see from Michael Porter Jr. He said, if you're not engaged on the defensive end, then he's not going to play you. And that goes for everybody on this team. And he said it throughout the week. He said it yesterday. He said it right after the game when he was asked about it. He said it pregame when he was asked about it for the third time. He did not think that Michael Porter Jr. was engaged on the defensive end and said there's a trickle-down effect when one guy isn't playing his hardest. That sometimes allows other guys to take their foot off the gas. He said he wants his group to be inspired by each other, the way they play on the floor, especially on the defensive end, and just felt like he didn't get what he needed from Michael Porter Jr. Now, he did follow all these comments up saying he's going to have a big game in this series. They're going to need him in this series. So I wouldn't expect this, Adam, to be a Michael Porter Jr. series where he is playing 25 minutes a game. But it will be interesting to see if he is more engaged on the defensive side of the ball to start this game.
I'm going to be interested to see how the Clippers look when it comes to just having gas in your tank, when it comes to just having your cardio and your wind, because we know the altitude does affect everyone. Kawhi Leonard, it was noticeable with him. I know we would never admit to it. Coach Lou doesn't want to talk about it, but it's a real thing. You've been there for a couple more days. Hopefully this Clippers team is getting acclimated a little bit and can just play heavier minutes, because in that game 1, it was the Denver Nuggets who were really going for it, playing their guys extended minutes.
Agreed. And whether you're at altitude or not, Adam, it's going to be somewhat of an adjustment after not playing for a week. I mean, the Clippers played on Sunday, had an entire week of practice for that Saturday matinee. I'm sure today they feel a lot better into a regular season routine, Adam, for this team, being able to play a game, have a day off, play another game. Although some other teams out west got 2 days off, but we won't talk about that. But for this Clipper team, I think that consistency helps. And look, when you lose game 1, you want to play right after that game ends, right? Yeah. There's an antsiness to it because it is one game in a series. It feels like, will the whole series go this way? I'm sure the Clippers are excited for this one. 8 o'clock local tip, so a little bit of a later game here in Denver, but no doubt the Clippers will be able to bring it. As Nikola Jokic said when he was asked about Michael Porter Jr. not being engaged, he said, if you're not engaged now, you should be playing basketball. So hopefully both these teams locked in to start this ball game.
You're not engaged now. It's playoff basketball. You don't get a pulse out there. All right, Carlo, I'm going with my player to watch, Kawhi Leonard. A big bounce-back performance. Who do you got for the Clippers?
Bounce back. Norman Powell. I'm sticking with the motif here, Adam. Give me Norman Powell. 12 points in 37 minutes. I expect him to have a big game. I expect him to be aggressive early. And most importantly, Adam, I hope he's not forcing the basketball. When it comes to Norman Powell, when he lets the game come to him, he's one of the best offensive scorers, especially as a third option in the NBA. Norman Powell has to make sure he's playing within the flow of the team and then also just playing his brand of basketball, which has been a 22-point scorer this year on 48% from the field. I expect big things from Norman Powell in this game. I expect him to bounce back. And look, if the Clippers want to win this series, they are going to need an effective games from Norman Powell. He has been that key in their offense the entire season. Can he get one here today? His trainer, AJ, was at the Clippers shoot around this morning. Norm was there before anybody else. He was here at the arena before everybody else. I'm sure he hasn't slept well in a couple days just because he's been thinking about this one. I expect Norman Powell to be ready to go and blast off here at Denver.
Let's see the Powell Rangers back out there for the Clippers in Denver in Game 2. Tip-off is just about 7 minutes away. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Coming up next, we'll get your keys to victory right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Nuggets, Game 2 about to tip off. We're just moments away. Let's get your keys to victory. Talked about it a little bit with Law Murray, but it wasn't just the fact that the Clippers had 20 turnovers leading to 29 points for the Denver Nuggets. It was also the fact they didn't force a lot of turnovers. Denver only had 11 in the matchup on Sunday. That's unlike this Clippers defense that is very aggressive in attack mode. They have to force turnovers so they can get some easy buckets in transition as well. And also crash the glass. That was their bugaboo late in the ball game. They couldn't close out possessions. They were the number one defensive rebounding team on the season percentage-wise, but they got beat up by a team that's very good on the offensive boards and proved it in Game 1 with the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers simply have to be better with getting to those 50-50 balls. They got to show more effort, more want to, more drive, and more passion out there. And I think they will tonight here in Game 2. All right, here we go. From Ball Arena, it's the Clippers and Denver Nuggets. Carlo Jimenez is on the call next, and you're listening to Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.